future generations could get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Hello, we are back. Tuesday.
What is up, everybody?
Tuesday night. Is it Tuesday night?
It's Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday night? It's a Tuesday night.
Yes, it's Nerds Night.
That's right.
Nerds in the his house. So yeah, we
got
got
a holiday every week.
Yep.
Oh yeah. How did you guys enjoy your Labor Day?
It was good. Went to the park. We made some homemade pizza. We made some homemade funnel cake, and I drafted my fantasy team. So overall good weekend.
Not bad. I was pretty chill. I was just resting for the most part.
Hashtag Dad Mondays. There we go. We'll call it that.
Yes, they go back to school tomorrow. Thank God.
That funnel cake looked amazing. I'm gonna need some next time I come over.
Oh man, it was great. It was we made funnel cake before, like last week, and we didn't have we used a nozzle, but it wasn't big enough. And then Jackie pulled out a piping bag, and it was just top notch. It was great. Nice. We were very happy.
So let's get into these announcements because we have some great guests in the back who are itching to talk about this one episode of Doctor Strange. We may get into The Witcher. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about this episode of What If.
We shall see.
Let's get into some announcements. So announcements, please, guys, subscribe, like, follow. All those 230 that are subscribing to us right now on YouTube. Thank you, guys. We love you guys.
I'm still like, there's 230 out? There's so many.
But no, we thank you guys. Follow us on the Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on we're trying to be more active too on Twitter. So you may see a couple of little posts on there. So we are on there. That's all for announcements, but follow the Medusa's Cascade podcast, which comes out every Saturday. We may have another announcement on because working with MLA Entertainment for a nerd special episode where it will be on a Wednesday night live. And it's going to be covering one of their cool projects. So we will let you guys know once that gets finalized. So that's about it. But we got some already comments in that back here. Yep. That metaphor. I feel
like that's the perfect
That's the perfect entrance and segue for the Mighty Pong right there. Look, he's inceptioning the chat. He's inceptioning the show. We just
we plucked them from the chat.
Episode 4 means the Pong is there.
Do you realize how lucky you are? I'm wearing pants. You just pulled me right out of chat, man. You gotta let me know in advance.
Wait. So does that mean that our pullout game is strong?
No, stop. Just keep going forward. Just
Next
go
on
forward, please. You're getting the 5-finger point right now. Just keep
next
going
on the list.
forward.
We want to welcome back. They come from an amazing campaign off an amazing comic that we got to cover, which was Pitter Patter. Give it up for the one, the only Rodney Fyke. And up, Rodney. Rodney's like, I'm not coming back here, man.
I love to see it.
I threw up a little bit in my mouth when you said that.
Jesus Christ.
I couldn't help it. Listen, Pong set it up. That was it. I blame Pong. We'll just say that. Just blame Pong.
No. It's you. We need a filter for you, sir.
Yeah, we don't blame guests.
Listen. At the end of the day, like half our guests, that's it. They're the resident Snorlax. That's it. They're here. They know they could walk into the house, walk in, grab a beer from the fridge. That's it. They're more than guests. They're family. They're family. Family. Next on the list, we did an amazing creative series featuring him. He did some amazing panels too for in Beyond Con, and again, he's doing some great things with Skullgatemedia, the company that he co-founded. If you haven't seen the creative series featuring him, go back. This is why you guys subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel because give it up for the one, the only Chris Van Dyke.
Hello.
Hey,
Welcome back.
Hey,
welcome back.
That's right.
We had Chris in the green room. We had to deal with that nonsense, man. Like, come on.
Listen, it's Tuesday night. I told you guys in the green room, I'm hooked up on Mexican food and horchata. That's it.
I gotta look like Chris right now. I'm slacking. I'm here.
What you got, Chris?
I'm here with a bottle of water. I'm slacking. Chris, what you got there? What you got?
Everybody has some poison tonight.
Ah, nice.
Ooh, nice. That's it. Everybody.
I got my Jameson on the shelf. I'm slacking today. My bad. Next time.
So let's get into it because we've all sat there. We're drinking our Jameson, our water, our juices. We're just hocked up on our chata. But let's get into Doctor Strange because this What If episode was pretty dark. I really love this episode.
Yeah.
This was one of my favorites that is up there. How did you guys feel about the? Oh man, it's. How did you guys feel? Oh wait, because we got to do this for George.
Hey, geez, man! Like, come on. What am I here? I show up to do my thing, man. Come on. Anyway,
no respect.
Jeez. Anyway, we are talking season 1, episode 4 of What If Doctor Strange Lost His Heart Instead of His Hands. As you know, we go all in on spoilers. No 2 double episodes. We are here. We are there. Doctor Strange's universe is destroyed, friends. Death by heat. It's awful. Tony Stark has died. Doctor Strange and everyone else may be dead. I don't know. But let's get into it. This is a crazy-ass episode. Super dark, super twist. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we definitely have some. Definitely felt that I was watching the episode. The Twilight Zone. Thank you. Just want to make sure that it's okay from the floods. Yeah, thank you for checking in. We are all good.
We appreciate you, Jarrell. Now get the hell out.
You can send me a care package, a 6-pack. But yeah, no. How did you guys feel about the dark tone about this episode? Rodney, we'll lead off with you with this. How did you feel about this episode?
I loved it. I mean, it finally we get to see a little Marvel go dark. The animations where he was fighting all the demons and stuff. To me, it was like a flashback to being a kid and watching Fantasia. It was I thought it was a definite nod to Fantasia. I just loved it. I mean, the animation was beautiful. The style and the graphics and everything was just top notch. And just, I mean, you kind of knew what was going to happen, but you wanted to see how it was going to happen because it was just, and everything he kept conjuring. He's like, oh, that's so and so. Oh, that's so and so. Oh, that's so and so. So it was like a kaleidoscopes of flashbacks of stuff that everybody knows. So it was like, oh man, sweet. So yeah. Great.
And Jarrell saying Ghost, and he's coming on the season final because it's like that's it. That's Jarrell's Jarrell's that guest that has that dent in the couch when he comes through. You know it fits right there. We always welcome you, Jarrell.
Right? Arelis is telling you. You need to keep up, man.
What's up, Arelis? Let him know, man. Let him know.
But
we'll see Jarrell in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
There you go.
But let's see. Chris, you're next. How did you feel about the dark tones of this episode? Because again, I love the take and all that. Yeah, that was a who's who when he was bringing out with demons and everything. But how did you feel about this episode too? Dark tones and everything.
I loved it. I mean, for me, this is everything that What If is supposed to do. It really dug deep into the consequences of a decision. And since it's a what if, you can kill the whole universe, and you don't have, and you can still come back and play the next day. Like, I thought it was the strongest because I felt some of the previous episodes didn't lean as much into the what ify side of it. Like episode 3 was like, what if the Avengers died? It's like, actually no, it's how would the Avengers die? It stopped right when we got to the what if part of it. Actually, I wanted to see King Loki and how that was going to play out. So this one I liked. It started right off with the what if scenario, and then actually sort of played out the consequences. Whoop, everyone's dead. Yeah, have a good day.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Lights turned out forever.
Yeah.
For real.
Pong, we saved you for last on this one because again, you always said it's the 4th episode for you, the 4th episode. So please, how did you feel about this episode?
So
and no, there was no Chris Pratt.
Oh, thank God. No, I have feeling. Everyone who's watched me on this show before knows I have feelings about Chris Pratt, but but he was not involved in this episode.
Oh my God, it couldn't even come up organically. Bess, why'd you have to spoon feed it to him? Just let it come up organically with Chris Pratt.
Oh, he put himself in timeout. Dang.
Anyway, go ahead, Pong. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
So I absolutely love the episode. I agree with you about the darker tone. I did like that. I don't know so much about discounting, well, not really discounting, but saying that the other ones didn't really go into much because a lot of it happens in your head in a way. Like the very first episode, if Tony Stark is basically trading places with, or if Chris Evans, or if Captain America is basically trading places with Iron Man, right? That's going to have all these ramifications down the road. So it's kind of like, I liked that episode because it set my wheels spinning as far as like, oh, what's coming up next? You know, like how would that feed into this and that into that? So I like that a lot. But this episode in particular, I think it's really interesting, and we'll probably get into this later on. But how the tentacle monster made an appearance in 2 episodes so far.
Yeah,
and we've got more. There was a turnaround in this episode as well, but we'll probably get into that later on. But overall, love the episode.
I mean, I already know how Tony and Law felt about this episode. I think, Tony, you were asked on Catch the Craze last week. Because, again, guys, if you check it out, last week we were on Catch the Craze. Amazing interview. Go check it out there after the show. It's on demand on their channel.
That went off the rails.
Yeah, that went off the rails. But we kind of gave our opinion. I didn't see the episode, but I know, Tony, this was one of your favorite episodes right now.
Yes. Yeah, this was this was a Tuesday night. I played Destiny till about 2:45 in the morning, and then I went to bed and I was like, oh, wait a second, What If is on. So I watched this episode in my bed on my phone, and I was like, holy shit. at 3:30 in the morning, I was like, I didn't see this coming. Like, I knew we were getting the dark Doctor Strange because, like, from all the promos we saw, but like how it ended, the fact that we got a dark ending made this episode so much better. Like, yeah. And it just made sense for why we had to have that ending, because the dark Doctor Strange was a stronger Sorcerer Supreme than the other Doctor Strange, because that Doctor Strange was only 2 years out of his movie, didn't fight Thanos, didn't really have all of that. So just, I'm happy with what we got, and I love that we're going down this darker theme, and that we have the cartoon, and they have the free reign to just do this, and they're not worried about the perception of the audience in the theater. So even though, like, I watched this episode, and I watched all the episodes with my kid, with my son, he's 7, and he was like, "Why are all the Avengers dying?" And I had to explain to him. He was like, "All right, cool." And then we watched this one. He's like, "This is really sad." I was like, "Yeah, I know." But it's cool that we're able to have that conversation with him, and like he sees it. But you wouldn't get that in the movies, just because the movies have to still keep the stakes open. But we're not able to have that story in the movie theater. Like, I don't know if we'll ever see like a super dark thing like we saw at the end of Infinity War. Even though it was so shocking, and we knew everyone was going to come back, it was still like, it was still there. So I love it. I'm really excited to see what they do moving forward. I think they need to kind of keep this tone going to up the stakes. It just makes sense. So many branches of a universe, you're going to lose them from hubris of these heroes. And it was cool to see it through Doctor Strange.
Law, how did you feel?
Yo, this episode, I immediately became one of my favorite episodes. It definitely set the pace and tone for what if could and should be. I think the other ones were lighter, and like Chris was saying, like, all right, sure, they kind of leaned into the what if, but like this was like, this is all or nothing, all the stakes, all the things, and I was here for it. Also, like, getting to see the Watcher like interact with Strange and seeing like where he almost wanted to interfere. It was like, this is one of those times I could and I should, but I can't, because that's not my place. And you're just like, but you can, like, you obviously can. And then also, like, I think, to Tone's point, like, these are the darker tones that we're going to start seeing, I think, in the Multiverse of Madness. Like, essentially, they're trying to say they're creating a horror movie that's going to be, set in this MCU that, we've established as having darker tones, but not really that dark theme that we're used to. And I think if they're leaning into it with this What If episode, the Multiverse of Madness is only going to be that much crazier. So I'm here for it.
I like that you mentioned that. Go ahead, Rodney. Sorry.
I was going to ask, did anybody, while we're talking about how we all liked it, did anybody else, this was just my take on it, but this felt more like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, it did. It did. It was
I think that made it more enjoyable for me, because I was just like, wow, I kind of feel like do, which just amplified it for me.
Well, I like that you point out, because they are saying that Multiverse of Madness is going to be their first take on horror. And also to Aurelius, do you think that Strange's ability to hear and sense the Watcher was telling us how powerful Strange is? I think it was, which is going to, and Aurelius says it reminded her of Final Destination, which again, you got that horror sense that Rodney just pointed out. And Cheyenne, Doctor Strange talking to the Watcher was compelling, just having little existential crisis in the midst of Steven doing Desperate was crazy. But I want to lead them both, like Diane and Aurelius just pointed this out with Strange, like talking how powerful he is. there's a fan theory going around about this episode right now about Doctor Strange and what we're seeing in Spider-Man Far From Home. And the fan theory is that this Doctor Strange that we saw in this episode didn't care about messing with time and messing with stuff. So, and then the fact that he was the one character that we've seen in the MCU's history really interact with the Watcher. Do you think that the Doctor Strange that we're going to get in Far From Home is this Doctor Strange from this universe swapping places with the Stephen Strange from the main MCU? And I want, Chris, I saw you. I go and leave with you with that one, Chris.
I mean, it did cross my mind just because, having watched this episode and then seeing the No Way Home trailer so back to back, and you have this making a very similar decision of I'm going to go back in time and change something. Like, I don't know, is Spider-Man's name being revealed one of those fixed points in time? I have no idea whether he's tampering with the same level of, chaos. But, right, I mean, I think going back in time to make a change, even one that's so personal to Peter, isn't something I would have expected Doctor Strange to say yes to. And then we had this episode with him all themed around him going back and changing how time played out. So I did think that was an interesting, that can't be a coincidence that those two things are resonating. I don't know whether that's showing a universe shift or not, but that would be, we have multiverse, how do we even know which multiverse Strange are we getting in the movie we're going to be seeing?
Yeah, and it goes back to what was it? Doctor Strange talking to Watcher was compelling, just having a little existential crisis. The Minister Steven was crazy, but it also showcasing his power and everything. Like, he was powerful, that he was able to interact with the Watcher in this episode. And I think that leads into more of that. Pong, we'll go into you with that question. Like, do you think that this Doctor Strange that we saw in this is going to be the one we're going to get in Spider-Man Far From Home that in some way probably captured Doctor Strange? What do you think with this theory?
Well, so I don't think so, and here's why. Because you'll notice that what's her name, the ancient one. The ancient one comes out and she says, "No, this is a. I think she said a fixed point in time. I don't know if she said a Nexus event. Do we think that
she said it was a fixed point in time? But let's keep in mind that Rachel McAdams, the character she plays, is alive in the MCU version, whereas in this one."
Well, in that universe, that's a fixed point in time. Where in the MCU universe, in our universe, the fixed point in time is him getting
finish. Let Pong finish.
Go ahead.
I'm just explaining the fixed point in time.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Go ahead, Pong.
So what's interesting about this? What's interesting about this is that in the MCU, you see, she's alive. He actually breaks his hand, so there was a way out of it the entire time if he just broke his hand instead of her dying. And so the fact that the Ancient One wasn't able to see that's kind of interesting. So I do think that this is a different Doctor Strange entirely. Now, whether they bleed over or not, whether this one makes it into that one, I don't know. I would say probably not, because I think they're saving it for a bigger bad, or maybe I don't know who else would have the same magic power to be able to lock up Doctor Strange. I don't know who else would be able to do that in the MCU that we've seen so far. I don't think it's going to be this one, though.
Aren't they creating? They've kind of announced that in Multiverse that Wanda's supposed to be the villain. She's supposed to essentially be the big bad.
Wanda could do it.
They said that's one of the rumors there, and she is as powerful as Doc Strange. What they're saying, that's what they were showcasing in WandaVision. But Rodney, take it away with that question. What do you think of that theory?
I kind of think that Doctor Strange might be a Skrull.
That is plausible. That's plausible.
That's a hot take.
That's a plausible theory right there.
That's a spicy meatball right there.
I don't know.
We have Secret Invasion coming up.
My head when Pete was talking to him and he said, "Shut up," and he lost control so quickly. That, to me, that was very Stephen Strange. He's always in total control. And when that happened, because Secret Invasion's coming up at some point, people are gonna start acting, and everybody's thinking that it's related to what's coming up and all these other movies and stuff. Nobody's thinking about the Skrulls yet. And I'm waiting
to see that early.
I'm waiting for that reveal. And I'm gonna be like, "Ha! Told y'all so."
That's actually.
I mean, we got the Skrulls in the other Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
well,
I like that take.
Yeah.
How would the Skrulls be able to do magic, though? Do they have that ability?
They
could be studying.
do.
Great, you get to learn that you can do whatever.
Yeah, like the Super Scroll, he does all the Fantastic Four's powers. He even reads intelligence. So if he can do that, they can do Strange's abilities to talk.
Yo,
Because here's something else to think about. One point that I noticed that really impacted me was everybody's talking about Stephen was able to see the Watcher, but if you remember back, he sensed him first. He was like, and everybody knew what he was sensing.
Yeah.
So I don't think that a guy that knows that the Watcher was there would be so surprised at his presence. Now, a Skrull who's not used to that, who knows he's up to no good and he's fucking with people, if he notices the Watcher's behind him, that might scare him, which is what it did to Steven. So just think about that. I don't know. I mean, I'm going way out here, but
I rocks with Rodney.
Just listen, Rodney. You give the reasons, you give the argument. We're here for it. We want all the spicy meatballs, man. Bring it on.
That was a very spicy meatball. I want to give a shout out to Emilio because Emilio, big comic fan right here. Comic creator too of Exodus. Check out his stuff over at Darkfire Press. It's called Exodus. It's comic, but the What If comic book was based upon a different trajectory and different universes happening due to the events that literally could go on one way or the other. Kudos to those writers. In this What If series, basically the writers are just changing each universe necessary for each episode. Like for example, again, the gunman and the fact that Steven was in love with her in this episode and all that. But I like that take on the Skrull. I didn't think about that. And you're right. Secret Invasion is around the corner. It leads with more theories of like, what is the MCU doing right now to amp up this universe with these threats and these storylines. But Lol, take it away with what do you think about this fan theory, and then we'll jump into the next.
I mean, I got nothing for the spicy meatball. I'm here for it. I want to see. I mean, it makes sense if we are doing Secret Invasion. It would make sense that there were Skrulls all the time. Like it makes sense for them to start peppering in a Skrull and what like we saw in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Right. So I got nothing to say on that. But to talk about the Doctor Strange switcheroo, I don't think so. I think that this Doctor Strange is vastly different than our MCU Doctor Strange. The What If Doctor Strange was able to see the Watcher because he got all of his power from sucking up all of those beings. Like they really made a point. Like he went through a flash mob of mythical creatures that got smaller and big, from small to huge. And then in the middle, he noticed the Watcher. And then he was like, all right, now I'm going to go get who we think Summer Garoth. I'm going to get his tentacles because I need a little bit of his power. Where in this Doctor Strange, we also have to realize that Doctor Strange he's a neurosurgeon, right? Like it takes a specific type of cat to be a neurosurgeon, to like super confident, super cocky, very like, and seeing him kind of brush off Wong as in like, I'm not going to listen to you, dude. Like I never listen to you. Like you're my voice of reason. And he never listens to Wong. Like he he learned and he did the thing with the time stone. And it all tracks that he's going to work with magic that he wasn't proficient in. And also he was gonna do that spell right. Peter couldn't keep his damn mouth shut. Like it takes two to tango to fuck with the earth. And Peter was like, "Oh wait, he's being a teenager. Oh wait, no, with my friends. Oh wait, no." I'm like, he's like, "Yo, shut up, kid. I'm trying to help you." So I think it's very Peter Parker. It's also very Tom Holland. I think that's a really great way of having to go with him. Like that just seemed very natural for him to kind of just start bugging Strange in the middle of a spell. So that's why I don't think it's the same. It's a switcheroo. I think it would be cool if he's part of the villains in Multiverse of Madness. If this Doctor Strange isn't redeemed at the end of What If, because he ends in his little circle in the universe and we don't know if he's going to be used or not. So if they just leave him there, maybe he's a villain. And I think also looking at Emilio's points and some of the What If stuff, I think for the Doctor Strange episode, the big change there is that I think Rachel decides to go with him to the ball. I think he asks her or something in the movie. I haven't seen the movie in forever. And she says no. So like that What If switcheroo is like, what if she says yes? Because he was still going to that event. In the movie, it's his hands. In the show, after she says yes, it's her life. And in Captain Carter, those guys were always there those guys were always there. It was just the fact that the rest of the squad happened to be there when he attempted to sabotage everything. So, and it's also like very butterfly effecty. Like it's these little changes and then they cascade, which I think is what they try to do. I don't know how they're going to do that with the zombie one. I don't know what little changes.
Oh, I can't wait.
But
the umbrella umbrella.
So, but yeah, no, the switcheroo Doctor Strange theory, that's not on my radar, but I will keep an eye on that scroll theory from Rodney though, because that's a fun one.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Like I said, that didn't even cross my mind with that one. Law.
I'm gonna have to save that in my back pocket for a rainy day when it comes up, and just like, yo, Rodney, you were right. Or Rodney, you were close. You know what else case is. Did not think that, but that's what we do on this show is give
my phone better blow up when it happens.
We've had a number of them happen on the show, but this is probably one of the best ones we've had yet. Not gonna lie. But as far as the theory that you brought up, Seabass, I don't know so much as it's that version from that universe, that Strange that we're going to see, so much as in the current MCU, the potential that we have for Doctor Strange to become that is probably closer than what we all think. I think someone brought up a point where they said Steven hasn't really truly been humbled in this MCU timeline yet. He's had like, his hands taken away, then he got magic, now he can use his hands again, and he's had all these things that like he just works around and gets his way anyways. You know what I mean? Even I
said there was a 1 in a billion chance, and I was right. Ooh, yeah.
Exactly. So he hasn't had that chance to really face like consequences or face like great cost, like I think like something like being like, oh shit, I just lost something that I could probably never get back. You know what? I'm gonna try to go for it anyways. He hasn't had that in this universe yet, so I think there is a potential that in Multiverse of Madness or in Spider-Man leading into Multiverse of Madness that he shows elements of that, and I would love to see. I'm not familiar with it too much, but that same arrogant, somewhat morally gray, jaded Doctor Strange starts leading into what we would then see if we get the Illuminati. I know we wouldn't have Tony, but if we got the Illuminati, that would like completely change a lot of things, especially leading into Secret Invasion.
It would change a lot of things regarding with Hulk and all that, because there's just a lot of Marvel storylines that involve the Illuminati right there, because there's still characters that we haven't been introduced that are part of Illuminati, and we lost a character that was a member of the Illuminati. But let's get into this next one, because again, Pong, you mentioned it too, with Sumagoroth making its second appearance in this What If series. And I mean, I'm going to say flat out there, I don't think it's coincidence that we've been introduced to this character twice. This character is potentially going to be involved in the Multiverse of Madness. Do you date that this is also going to be the big bad we're going to get at the very end of this What If series that brings on the Guardians of the Multiverse, Pong?
Yeah, I do think so. Is that what they're calling the not exactly Avengers that we've seen in some of the commercials?
Yeah, that's the name I've heard floating around, was Guardians of the Multiverse.
Guardians of the Multiverse. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's probably who they're going to be fighting at the end, if they're not actually fighting the Watcher himself, but that'd be way outside. I don't think that's going to happen.
That's a bold strategy, Kyle. Let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, no, I don't think that would go so well. But I do think, though, that it's probably going to be. I do think that it probably will be Shumagarath that comes out, or whatever that creature is in this universe that ends up fighting, basically whoever's left. I have been looking for ties in between things, and it doesn't look like they're all the same, right? So, like, if they were all the same, in other words, maybe we would have seen Chris Evans, an older Chris Evans, or an older Captain America as Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? In the episode where all the Avengers die. So it's not in the same universe. They're all different little hunks of it. So I don't know that we're gonna get the Shumagarath at the end. I would imagine probably, since he's the only big bad that we've seen so far, but
Yeah, we're still supposed to get a story with Ultron too and all that, because Ultron is in the trailers and on all the posters. But Chris, you're next up with this one. Like, do you think that Sumagroff is going to be the big bad that unites this multiversal universe protecting team, the Guardians of the Multiverse?
I just have to take a quick segue to plug my book, because I just published a book that has giant tentacles on the cover. So I'm trying to figure out a lawsuit against Marvel Comics for ripping me off, because I've been working on this for months and I just see tentacles everywhere. So
it's actually Chris's character that's attacking him. That's it.
Yeah, they're a complete unexpected turn of events. It ties into my novel. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is leading up to an actual big bad, or if it's more to sort of resonances, sort of more, if you're watching all the episodes, you say, "Ooh, it's a squid again." That's sort of cool. I don't know. I haven't read enough online, and I haven't got a sense of whether this is going to build up to all these different what ifs leading to some big thing. If so, then probably some big squid at the end. Or if it's just sort of a fun, there's big evil squid out there, and if you go through enough multiverses, you're going to run into a big evil squid.
So I have a question on this. Like, one thing I was wondering after I finished watching it is, how was this allowed to happen in the first place? Shouldn't the TVA have stopped it? Because if Strange destroys the universe, there ain't going to be no He Who Remains.
Well, if you notice, this is all happening after the events of Loki.
Yeah.
Right.
And remember, when Loki returned to the TVA, they were all in chaos and trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
It just shattered the multiverse, right? That's
so like everything is just branching off from the one circle, which is like we're able to have like what ifs happening on different planes of the circle. So like even in what if the Avengers died, all of phase 1 happened on time up until Hank Pym was like, I gotta go crazy because I gotta avenge my daughter. Right, like that's like one of the few changes. So like I think that's how they're doing it. Like there are different points on time because everything is on the one circle. So like what we're seeing with eventually with Ultron or with Gamora and the Thanos costume and all that other stuff and everything. So I think that's how I think the TVA is now like a non-issue because the sacred timeline is no longer sacred.
Also, we don't know how many versions of the TVA right now exist because remember when Loki returned, he was in a completely different time varying agency.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't know who's watching who.
With your big Kang the Conqueror statue in the background. So yeah, we got
exactly. Well, so
Doctor Strange has annihilated his timeline, but since there's an infinite number one out there, they're all just still going off and branching, and he's off in his own little bubble. But I don't think he's destroyed the entire multiverse. He's just destroyed his little fragment, which couldn't be pruned.
He's just sitting there alone on a couch eating popcorn, wondering when the pizza guy is going to get there.
Yeah,
listening to that terrible Justin Bieber song all by himself.
And that's when we lose the Bieber fans. Rodney, do you think that Sugargraph is going to be the big bad that the Guardians of the Multiverse are going to fight at the end of this series?
I definitely think that it's a possibility, but my gut says no. My gut says it's going to be something else that nobody's thinking about. I'm not saying Squirrels.
It's Mephisto.
Oh yeah.
I learned my lesson with that. I learned my lesson with that. We have a sandwich episode because of that.
Yeah, I think it's something that you're just going to drop on us like a mic drop thing and like boom, nobody saw it coming. Thanks. See you next season.
I totally agree with you. When they announced that this was canon, I think that when we get the close of this series, we're going to get a big mic drop and we're like, because they love to do that. They love to do that shit. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So I want to get into
still be a setup for the Squirrels because they plugged Thanos for like 10 years or something like that before he finally showed up.
They play
a long game. They play a long game with their overarching plot. So
yeah.
And we got Buddy Thanos now. I want more Buddy Thanos. That's what I want right now. Talking about like how his idea would have worked, but just doing things for better good. But I'm sorry with this. I'm going to go into the next question right now because again I want to cover for more with this episode.
Yeah.
So I want to get into the battle of the Doctor Stranges. How you guys felt about this battle? How did you love the animations? Or did you love it? Did you hate it? What were some of your takes with this battle? And Rodney, we will leave with you with this one.
I was a kid in a candy store, man. I mean, I'm laying in bed going, and I'm hitting Tina on the shoulder going, oh, and she has no idea what's going on who's who. And I'm like, she's like, stop hitting me. I'm like,
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I just, when this series was announced and I saw preliminary animation from it, I was like, this might be something from Marvel I don't like. And then I saw the first episode and I was like, holy shit, this animation is beautiful.
Yeah.
And this was like Loki. I'm looking so forward every week to seeing the next episode. So that fight, that just keeps piling on, man. Where was this shit 20 years ago when I was, I feel like my childhood I was cheated.
Marvel was just, in the process of selling their
Marvel was
products.
filing for bankruptcy about 20 years ago.
Right.
Yes, they were.
They went off Spider-Man to Sony, so they didn't have to roll up shop.
Yeah, I really feel with this animation because I know for so many years, and this is not a pot shot at DC, but a lot of people used to say, oh, DC is holding it down with animation. And just with this, they didn't spare any expense because if you look at the resume for a lot of the people who worked on this series, they've worked on some major animations, and this has just been beautifully done. It's like it feels like you're getting pages from a comic book ripped out.
Yeah.
And they're just animating and they're moving, and it's like, dude, it's fantastic. And again, it's just I want to see they're gonna make an animated studio now to handle more animations. I want to see what they're gonna do now with further animations, and even we're gonna get another What If episode with Pong. How did you feel about the animations, the Doctor Strange versus Doctor Strange battle? I mean, he was fighting himself. How did you feel?
Yeah, I loved it. I love the style. Just like I can't remember who it was that said that. Rodney, I think it was, that said that they weren't sure if they were going to like it at first. I was a little. Oh, that was.
Yeah,
that was you. That was you. Okay. Yeah, I kind of felt like that at first as well. I was like, I don't know, an anime thing. And then they said it was, like you were saying earlier, they said it was canon. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then, but I tell you what, as soon as what was her name? Captain Carter. As soon as Captain Carter came out, I was like, oh, well then, I'm hooked. I'm staying. Yeah. So I love the thing. I didn't get all the references. I was never that deep into the comics, only the MCU. So I missed a lot of the references. I don't know why he beat up that poor garden gnome at the very beginning of that fight. I don't think he did anything wrong. I mean, come on. He's just, he's tending to his mushrooms, and next thing you know,
it was his time playing DMD. He got attacked. His character got attacked by a garden gnome. That's what it was.
Well, that's fair then. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So I absolutely loved it. I love the style, and I'm definitely here for the whole thing. Absolutely.
And it's funny. I mean, just as when you guys pointed out Captain Carter, it's funny how, again, we get this light tone where it's similar in the MCU, where we had this light tone that started in like Captain America and all that, with Iron Man at the first phase, and then we started to get these darker tones being added into the MCU, especially when we got to Infinity War and Endgame. We kind of get that with this fourth episode, with the animation style and everything. But Chris, how did you feel about this Doctor Strange battle? Like, what was your takes from it? The animation style, the fight scene, everything, the choreography. What was your take on it?
Oh, I hated it. I'm sorry, I got to break up this monotony. I loved it too. I mean, God, I don't know.
I think it's safe to say already.
I always liked, what the Doctor Strange movie did so well was it dealt with that sort of that trippy psychedelic. The way they've done his magic is such a great. it just doesn't visually look like any of the other Marvel movies. And the same thing with the comics. Like, and animation just lets you push that even more. Like, you got that sort of Jack Kirby, absolutely crazy, psychedelic almost stuff going on. I mean, I'd love, I say the same thing with the animation. I wasn't quite sure I wanted to watch an animated Marvel movie. And then I saw the visual promos, like, it looked a little cel-shaded. Like, I wasn't sure if it was going to get all that sort of modern slick CGI, but like you said, it looks like a comic book come to life. I love it. I mean, the whole family likes it. Like, my 10-year-old daughter, who's always iffy about Marvel movies, like, she loves the show as much as, my wife, my son, and my partner do. So, yeah, and, I love the battle itself, and I like that, again, with the darkness, the stronger Doctor Strange won. And it's the Doctor Strange that has spent, 100, 200, however many years in some pocket dimension, sucking up evil. And it's also that...
Yeah, that was a long time. Yeah.
And it's also like what I like. It shows you sort of how close an origin between a supervillain and a superhero are. And in many ways, the supervillain has the upper hand because they're willing to do those dark things. And you see, like, so often in the comics or even in the movies, like, the villains almost should win. Like, there's so many chances, but then the heroes get a little lucky, plus, all the stuff, and it works out, and we cheer. And this was like, no, the villain, like, he was determined. He had a single-minded focus. He dedicated it to it. He had no mercy, and he wiped the floor with the better one. And you're like, yeah, that's sort of how it probably would go, wouldn't it? Happy
I like that take on it, because that's essentially what it was with what was it, Endgame. The heroes did what they needed to do to make things come back to normal or to semblance of normal, to defeat Thanos, because they didn't do that in Infinity War. They didn't go all out, whereas like in that second movie they did. And it's the same thing, like you said here, this Doctor Strange, he went all out, the evil counterpart, to achieve his goal and took out his good side. And was like, I like that take. And it wasn't a scroll. Law sagging you in.
I absolutely loved it. It was a nice twist to see the shift from like, oh, he went down the dark path, oh, the other one still exists, and then like seeing like, the ancient one come and be like, all right, you gotta go take care of him. And it felt like one of those fights. I was like, it doesn't look promising from the get-go. Like, this dude has so many power-ups and so many like things that he did, and that same Doctor Strange hasn't fought Thanos, hasn't gone through all the stuff that he went through in the main MCU, hasn't done all that training. And we all know with like magic and mysticism, the more hours spent, the more powerful you become. So he's looking at with Wong, with all these charms and spells and all this stuff cast on him, and I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna hold up. And it did for a quick second. Like there was a brief moment where I was like, oh man, this could actually no, there it is. It just went. And I think what they did, to Chris's point, like what they did right was say like, this dude was willing to do what he wanted to get, what he felt necessary to get what he wanted done. And it was so apparent that even after everything was done, he beat the other Strange and he brought Rachel back and did all these things. And then all of a sudden, like, he's looking at the Watcher like, well, what can you do? And like, he started like, it's not until that very last scene that we get him to go and reflect and go, maybe I should like, maybe I should have done this. You know what I mean? Like, oh fuck, like what, at what cost? Like, I can't even have this, the one thing that I wanted, even after all the stuff that I did. Like, it's one of those fights that you won, but you still end up, coming out with nothing. You still lost.
He should have just broke his hands, I'm telling you.
Yes,
But I think, the fight, well done, really well done. It also showed what I hope to see in future Doctor Strange movies and like iterations, like how strong he can be in a fight. Like, not just he's really powerful and does all these cool things, and we saw it in Endgame, we saw it a little bit in Infinity War, but like in that really brief, let's call it 5 minutes, if that, of a scene, we saw some crazy stuff going on, and we're just like, So we're gonna see that live action, right? Because I'm here for it.
Right.
I'm all here for the live action. Is that live action fight scenes with Doctor Strange? Tone, take it away.
I mean, what is there to be said that hasn't been said? I mean,
We can go into the next topic. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'll be very, very brief. I kind of agree with everything. You know, it just very. The regular Doctor Strange got washed by evil Doctor Strange just because, you know, to everyone's point, he put so much time in. And like, this is a really good story of giving the point of view that everyone thinks they're the hero of their own story, even the villains. And like, you really got that from this Doctor Strange. And Marvel doesn't really do a really good job of doing it. Like, they did it well with Thanos and they did it well with this Doctor Strange. And I'm hoping that they lean more into those stories because it just makes a more compelling story. And you have these gray lines or these moral quandaries that we can have as fans as we're talking about it. Because there are times when you read fantasy stories and the hero goes and does everything to get whatever they need to get back. And they are crossing gods and they are going through realms and they're doing all this stuff, going through prophecies and they come up on top. And so he probably felt the same way. And it was just, well, yeah, bro, the world doesn't work like that. And you just destroyed your entire universe. This isn't a Tolkien book. This is real life. So I think it was really cool that they were able to do that, and the animation and the fight was fantastic. I love the difference in how they use the magics. Regular Doctor Strange really focused in on the mystic arts, and you got the orange and the symbols, where evil Doctor Strange you really got a lot of red was used for him, and I like how they did that. And even when he became full powered and the Eye of Agamotto turned red and all that, they really leaned in on that. So I like that the changing and how they animated his magic style was cool. It wasn't a mirror, which I'm glad they didn't do.
I like that you pointed that out because the last time I think we saw red magic was from Wanda. Do you think that this Doctor? Do you guys think that this was a tap into the chaos magic for this Doctor Strange?
I mean, I've seen people talk about it that it's very, because you know the colors in magic Marvel doesn't use colors just to use colors, and red has always been associated with chaos magic, and essentially he brought chaos to this universe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot with this episode that we all loved, and I think we love the fact that we had some great character development. We got a little bit of a Groundhog's Day in this episode with the whole repeating of the death and all that. Yeah. I mean, this hands down, this has been one of the like I said, I like the second episode with that had Buddy Thanos in it, but this was in terms of giving you that, like how we said, that what if feeling. That this was an actual real what if story, that consequence, that fact of all the nuggets that we said today. I think this was one of the best storytellings for 30 minutes, and within 30 minutes. Yeah. But we also have The Witcher on the docket because for those who don't know, Witcher was just released on Netflix, and I think it was Powerhouse Studios that did it. Was it? No, but it's a Netflix original animation. And pretty much it just really lends well to the story. I mean, Rodney, how did you feel? Give me your take on the Witcher animation, from story to the fight scenes, animation quality, everything. So right, deep dive into it, brother.
I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know that it was going to be a prequel. And I was saying earlier that I've only seen the first 4 episodes of season 1. We never got around to going back and finishing that season, but this definitely makes me want to go back and watch the rest. I'll probably start all over again from the beginning. But I think we talked earlier, I had a little bit of trouble kind of connecting with the characters at first. But as it kept feeding me what was going on, and the animation kept me there. Because I thought the animation was really nice. And as it started growing and stuff, and I started, seeing things laid out before me, I was like, okay, I'm a little more interested now. And as it kept going, I'm like, okay, let's see where it goes. And then at the very end, you get that nice little nugget of Geralt. I'm like, okay, that connects it all together. So that you just were introduced to his teacher. So okay, what's next? I mean, I dug it. Yeah, I really dug it. I thoroughly enjoyed it and didn't know what I was getting into, and I'm glad I watched it because it was awesome.
Yeah, it was like it was definitely an action roller coaster too when it came down to the action and the sequences. I was like, I mean, Tony sent it to me. It was Studio Mirror that did it, and just the quality alone in that animation, how the fight scenes were just very, very, very fluid, and then it had a really great, strong story too. For it to be, for those who didn't see the series, like you said, you only saw the first few episodes. It was a great standalone story too, which
and the elves and all the magic in the forest and stuff like that. And like I said, I haven't watched the last half of the first season, but I don't know if it gets into all that. But I was really intrigued by all that because I'm working on my other series, Roadkill Rampage, has a lot to do with Evil Forest. So I was at school while I was watching this. I was like, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. But this is a different world. This is fantasy over here. So I was dealing with all that too. It made it more enjoyable for me. So.
And you also got a taste of how the Witchers made, how they were making Witchers here and all that. But Pong, I want you to lead into this with the Witcher.
Well, so for me personally, it was really interesting because I thought I knew 3 things about it. I just Googled it, and it turns out I only knew 2 things. I knew his name was Geralt. I knew that it was set in the ye olden times, and I thought that taking an arrow in the knee happened in this one. And I just Googled that, and that was totally wrong. That was Skyrim.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Skyrim will never die. It's like a fucking roach.
Skyrim,
It just keeps coming back.
I love Skyrim, but I'm just like, yo, please just stop. Let it go.
Get 6. Let's just get 6,
please.
Well, they have to come together. I mean, because they are, after all, a family. That's just yeah. There you go. The law has left the chat.
Why are you feeding into Seabass's nonsense?
Oh, because that's good nonsense right there. That's
Can we not?
nonsense.
Can we not? I don't want to.
So that was the sum total of my knowledge of The Witcher, and one of them was wrong. So but now with that context, I loved it. I thought it was a great animated movie. I liked it a lot. It was hard for me to care about, I didn't have stakes in it, like people that have played the game and people that have watched the other Netflix show. I didn't have stakes in it, so I was kind of like, oh, all right. It's like if somebody watches, doesn't watch any of the Marvel movies and then watches, WandaVision, right? I don't know who this lady is. I don't know why they're doing the sitcom. This is weird. I don't know. I got a friend of mine actually quit around the 3rd episode, because he missed out. Yeah, quit around the 3rd episode of WandaVision. But so yeah, I didn't have stakes in it, but I liked the animation. It was very, very good. Yeah, good stuff. It was the end fight was so completely unfair. I have no idea how one could ever possibly defend themselves against someone just basically making you hallucinate everything. And was it just me, or did he himself end up killing most of his own people?
Yep.
That's what. Yeah. Okay, that is what happened. I thought so. Yeah.
Yep.
We're sorry, Chris hasn't seen it, so Chris is just here.
No, Chris is going. Chris, we're
just
selling
here
it
for
to
a
Chris
good
right
time.
now.
Just here for a
We're
good
selling
time.
it to Chris right now. Chris is like, "Yo, I'm gonna go watch it right now. I'll let you guys know."
Oh no! I mean, I could sort of see that coming. I mean,
Tony Stark is dead, and witchers make monsters.
So therefore, yeah.
The best part is when the shark shows up. So just keep your eyes open for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jeez, that was weird.
It's a baby shark too. So watch it.
Sentient oatmeal. Who would have seen that coming? I don't.
Num.
Yeah. Weird.
I'm gonna slide
What's in the box? What's in the box?
To the next spot, because I know Tone's gonna have the hot take as he's.
Yeah, we're gonna end it with Tone with this one because Tone has a hot take.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't have a hot take. I enjoyed it.
No, not hot take. But
okay.
But someone has you've read the books, right?
I haven't read all the books. I'm reading the first one.
All right, so you're reading the books, you've watched the series, and you played the games.
I have. I played the one game.
The Witcher 3.
Because the Witcher 1 has horrible controls. And I didn't play the Witcher 2. It's just one of those.
Grand Theft Auto 1. Nobody really played Grand Theft Auto 1.
Yeah. Exactly.
No one knows. I don't know.
Grand Theft Auto starts at Grand Theft Auto 3. That's when Grand Theft Auto starts.
Yeah.
And Witcher 3 is just. is so good. You don't need to play the other two games. You just learn everything through context. Like, it's really that good. Anyway.
I couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
I sold my copy on eBay because I just couldn't play it. But everyone else loved it, so go on.
All right.
That's one thing I don't have to. I bought the game, I played it, and then I sold it on eBay because I didn't like it. But I'm in the minority.
You know, I gotta say, you're a smart man to sell on eBay than to take that shit to GameStop and get 5 cents for it.
That's a big brain move right there. Like Rodney and like Pong, I couldn't find myself getting invested at first. Like I remember watching it the first time. Like the first 5-10 minutes, I was just like, this feels like Castlevania. And I had to turn off my Castlevania brain. Like I really just had to turn off my Castlevania brain. Then I don't know enough about like any the Witcher lore and history other than what I've been given with the series, because I haven't gotten to the game yet. It's on the list amongst every other game that's on my list. But I'm like, all right, let's get into it. Then we get the like really dope animation like out the gate with that first fight. Start to get a little bit of the backstory and lore, and the pacing at first I was like, all right, they're fleshing out a lot of stuff. But once we get into it, like into the thick of it, it was really, really good time. I honestly, like, it feels like a great standalone movie. Like if you just watched this and didn't really have the need or want to play the games or to really get into the books or anything, like if you just watch this, you're in for a good time.
Yeah.
But this also acts like a very good prequel without feeling like it's a prequel, because essentially it is a prequel, but you won't know that until like you know it and you're like, oh, this makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think for you, Chris, like if you're watching this first and then you get into the main series, you're in a good place, and then eventually you can get into The Witcher 3 like Tone over here.
So my question isn't, because I have a list of TV shows I want to get around to watching. And on the top of them actually were The Witcher and Castlevania. Which one do I watch?
Castlevania.
I recommend everybody.
Okay.
Also, Castlevania finished. So like, we don't know when season 2 of The Witcher's coming out.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Castlevania. It's a full four seasons. It's 30 minutes. It's fucking fantastic.
Animation.
It's been on my watch list for a while, and I think that's got to be the next one on my.
And as we were talking,
just keeps getting better and better with each season.
go Rodney.
Oh,
I don't know anything about Castlevania. What? Plug me in.
Netflix, Castlevania,
Netflix,
Powerhouse Studio.
Please go watch it.
Yeah,
You guys,
you're good at,
you guys
like,
watch it and give us your honest opinions, your reacts. Send us a video. I don't care.
Yeah,
We need to know because it's so good.
you don't need to play the games or anything. You just go in and enjoy it, and that's
you
it.
know how we were talking about animation quality, fight scene quality, story
Yeah.
quality. Castlevania put
Animation, the
it helped
story,
put
everything.
it helped put Powerhouse Studios really on the map
Yeah.
when it came to animation.
Okay.
And
and ended. Seabass, right or wrong, it ended on a high. Like
Yeah.
it didn't overextend.
it gave, like, it was funny because a lot of people complained that the first season was only 4 episodes, so they're like, oh, you want more? Gave us season 2 and they gave us more, and it was
season. But you got to remember too, it was I'm sure it was a gamble for Netflix because video game content was always never worked. Like, this was such a really good piece of video game content, so they gave them 4 episodes, and within those 4 episodes, in that first episode, you're like, I love Belmont. Belmont's amazing.
yeah,
I'm
they
here for it.
seriously, they established the whole world of characters in the first 4.
Yeah,
I mean, that was my main hesitation, is the number of TV shows at all, let alone animated shows based on video games, which are any good, is a pretty small list, but I've heard such good things about it. But so if I haven't played a Castlevania game since Castlevania 2, Simon Belmont's Quest since like 1984, I'll still be okay.
yeah. No, it's really so the video game nuggets are more of like for the fan, and then you catch it, and it adds more to it. That's all it is. So like some of the moves, some of the characters do, and it's like, oh shit, that's from the game. I remember seeing that, or like how they tie in some of the music, things like that. But the whole thing, you don't really need. You just watch it and you enjoy it for what it is.
And they're in talks now for a spin-off show.
Yes, yeah, it'll be with Richter. I believe
Yeah.
that's what the spin-off show will be with Richter.
And I have to say, like, as an animated Dracula, this was probably one of the best animated Draculas I would have to say I've seen on an animated show. You just you love his character.
Yeah, you
And-
get why, you understand and you feel for Dracula.
Okay, so I successfully added a third segment to the show just by saying the word Castlevania.
Oh, yeah, well done.
We're
Well
huge
done.
fans of
Cool,
Castlevania here.
Yeah.
This is why Tone is on the
check it out.
soapbox. This is why Tone is on the soapbox. Like, he wants Powerhouse Studios to get the rights for Berserk, because when you see the 2016 animation Berserk, it looks hard. Rodney, remember how we were talking about bad animation?
Yeah.
That you mentioned, you would not be able to see. Put it this way, what was it? Berserk, the 2016 animation was in 3D animation, right? And there is a scene when the main character is walking away, but he looks like he's hopping away like one of the South Park characters.
So it's like 1990s Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, it's
It's a rough time.
but
Okay.
the animation, fight scenes, everything in this, it just, like how you say, like we just like recommended again, The Witcher. If you love The Witcher animation, you would definitely love the fight scenes and everything in Castlevania. Look at this. This is the Nerds recommendation hour.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Which
I'll
one?
be
Which
checking
one of
it
you
out.
two are doing the final Witcher thoughts?
It was. I
Well,
mean,
Seabass, did you give your thoughts at all?
I loved it. I fucking loved it. That's it. That's all you're gonna get from me. I fucking loved it. I'm recommending it to people. I'm having people talk about it.
But okay,
Fucking-
okay.
I don't-
I'm just asking.
I don't recommend bad shit. The only time I recommend,
No?
What were you gonna say? Finish that statement. I dare
What do
you.
you say?
I-
What do you say?
He said, "I don't recommend bad shit."
no, I said the only time I recommend bad shit is when I'm giving it to you and Mike. Law. I need you guys to watch bad anime with me, man.
Yo, thank you. Tone, take it away.
All right. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. So like I knew coming into this, when they pitched it, they were doing a Witcher animation. It was going to be about Vesemir, who is Geralt's mentor, pretty much, So there is no expectation for what is there to be. You have the books, but the books are very much in Geralt's life, and everything they produce outside the books is not the author. While he loves all of it, does not consider it official canon. So the Witcher games, all that, just not canon. And I think this leads more into the canon of the TV show. So aside from all that, and we are getting Vesemir in season 2. So, but I was definitely here for it. I really enjoyed it. I loved how they personified Vesemir as a Witcher, and you compare him to Geralt as a Witcher, because they are vastly two different individuals. And I read online on the Witcher Reddit that people were like, it makes sense why Geralt is so gruff, because his mentor was what we saw, if that was him. And they even make nods to in the games about how Vesemir was when he was younger. So I really like that they were
felt like Trevor.
Yeah, he's played by Theo. He was voiced by Theo, so he's by Theo James, who voiced oh my god, he's
Hector.
in Castlevania. Hector. He voiced Hector in Castlevania. So
But for the first few minutes, it did not feel like you were watching Trevor.
Oh, yeah.
A Trevor variant.
It felt like Trevor variant, essentially, him and all of. But I loved it. I thought it was really cool. It was cool that they kind of went into the lore of why Kaer Morhen was no longer there, and I think it's a slightly they tweaked it slightly, because in the books it's more of humans and the sorceresses. They really let the magic of the Witchers really play out, because that shit is not like that. He cannot just blow fire out of his hand like a fucking dragon. It's really more for animation, but like the sword play was really dope. How they did it with the potions, seeing all the effects. I was here for it. I would love to see more Witcher animation. I think we don't get enough of it. I think the games are really fantastic for the medium and for the story. But it's such there's such vastness to it. There's so much history and lore that you can make whatever you want with the Witcher universe and not have to worry about Geralt. Just do whatever you want. Just lean in on it, because it's got that high fantasy sort of feel to it. But the political and intrigue and the backstabbing that people really loved about Game of Thrones, like you've got all of those things in there.
Yeah,
like the magic is very forefront, where in Game of Thrones magic is not like that. So you get like a mix of both.
So this has been a great episode. I mean, we got to touch up a little bit on The Witcher, but I want to do a thank you to each and every one of you guys. You can catch Rodney, Chris, Pong, they again did some amazing panels. Rodney did some live drawing too. MBOnCon, you could go to MBOncon.com to see all of it on demand. All the links are there. So please go back and check that out. Give them the like, follow, subscribe, because these are amazing creators right here. But I'm also going to introduce a new segment, the plug. I want you guys to plug away the projects that you guys are currently working on, anything that you guys are currently working on. I want to give a shout out for Chris. We'll start with you, and then Rodney, and then Pong. That's how we'll go with that order. So Chris.
All right, as I mentioned at the top, I am the founder and president of Skullgatemedia. You can find us online at skullgatemedia.com. We're a small independent publishing collective, mainly doing like prose. We just recently, last week, released our most recent collection called In the Wake of the Kraken. In fact, it's so recent that I don't have the actual final version. I still just have the author's proof. So it's a series, it's book 3, it says volume 3 at the top. It's an anthology series where we bring authors together and then we create a shared world and then tell stories set in it. So I still like to say we've got, it's a role-playing game with 24 dungeon masters and no PCs, or we're writing fan fiction for a world that we just made up. So in here, you've got 24 authors writing 24 different stories all in this case, it is pirate-themed, but it's called Pirates of the Multiverse. So you've got steampunk, fantasy, space, and traditional pirate stories, all of again in an original sort of shared world. And we are currently recruiting for the next volume right now. So if you are interested in urban fae and you're listening to this, you can go to yearbetween.com and apply to join our upcoming urban fae book. We're going to be getting a group of 24 writers together. We sort of have a premise of sort of this alternate world history where an island like Brigadoon appears off the coast of America in 1680 and becomes the 14th colony, except it's also connected to Feyland. And so we are going to be creating an alternative timeline together as a group. We play a collective game over a week and a half using email and Google Docs, storytelling game where we create a shared timeline and then everyone's going to write a story set in that new timeline. So if that sounds interesting to you, check out yearbetween.com and you could actually possibly join us as one of the writers on that book. And you can also check, we have about 5 books out right now. Again, it's yearbetween.com. They're all available through print on demand on Amazon or through your local bookstore if you want to go in and request any of them. So yeah, that's what we're up to.
I think I got some recommendations for that. Ooh.
Yeah.
Rodney, you're up.
All right. I am. You can find me at hasm.com. It's all things Hasm, everything that we're working on. But currently, we are working on putting together the Kickstarter for Roadkill Rampage, issue 2. We just finished. We're wrapping up everything for Pitter Patter issues 1 and 2. Kickstarter wrapped up about a month ago, and we're working on the books. Last book is in the lettering stage. So that's very, very close to being ready to get out to the fans and everybody who backed it. So, yeah, working on a Roadkill Rampage and Pitter Patter, writing a script for issue 3 of Roadkill Rampage right now. As soon as that's done, I'm hopping on the script for Pitter Patter issue 3. You can catch me and Sean Forney every Thursday and Friday night on Thursday Night Throwdown or Friday Night Draw, where we do basically what we're doing here, but we draw. And we work on commissions and stuff like that, and yeah, that's what we do. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Awesome, man. Cool. Yeah, okay. And when you get that Kickstarter, please send me the commercial so we can play it for you, bro.
Absolutely.
Pong, take it away. What are you doing, brother? Come on.
Oh man,
give that plug.
So, I got that plug. So every single Monday and Friday night, you can catch me on twitch.tv/Sin Shop. And if you're asking yourself, what is a Sin Shop? It's a maker hacker space located in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we offer the tools and equipment that you can use to make anything you can think of. Sinshop.org is the place to go for information on that. And if you're in the Vegas area and you'd like to stop by, or you'd like to come help us rebuild our brand new location, you can join our Discord at sinshop.org/Discord. And also, if you would like to see our panel from the actual from Inbion, I just threw a link to it in the YouTube chat right there. So you can check that out. Coming up on very soon in the not too distant future, we are going to have live Las Vegas robot fights. These are going to be like the smaller ones that people can actually come in, there's just like 3-pounders and 30-pounders. So they're not a huge outlay of money like the big ones are. And it's a lot more accessible for people to join and actually do robot combat without dropping multiple thousands of dollars. So, but it's going to be a great time. Again, that's twitch.tv/Synshop, SYNSHOP.
You guys heard it. So that was the plug. Again, support all these guys' projects, support them, give them the like, the follows, the subscribes that they deserve, because they're always creating amazing content, and we're always happy to have you guys on, and blessed to have you guys on. Again, this has been another amazing episode of Nerds Around. Thank you guys for coming on. This has been your boy Sebastian. You're muted.
Womp womp.
Damn it! I was so good. It's your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
Hey, you want to know what it was? That was Stephen Strange muting you. There you go.
Okay. You're a scroll, aren't you?
It was Mephisto.
Mephisto. Peace.